The 2025 Game Awards are in the books, and I have a couple highlights from the show that I want to go over. Let's talk about them. Hello there everybody, and welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler, and today we are going to be talking about the 2025 Game Awards and my 5-6 highlights from the show. This year's show was pretty good overall. Of course, you know, Claire Obscure absolutely swept and basically every category it was nominated in. Walked away with, I believe, 9 awards this year, including the most coveted, of course, Game of the Year. It was to be expected. Congratulations to the team, and of course to any and all other winners that won at this year's show. But of course, aside from the awards, there were many announcements and game reveals here at the Game Awards. Some on a very high scale level, some lower key, some in the middle tier area. But in this video, I want to talk about specifically the games that really spoke to me, the ones that really excited me, my major highlights when it comes to the announcements and reveals that we got here. So without further ado, let's get right on into them. So we're going to start these highlights with Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. This trailer, as soon as it started, I was like, what's this? And I was like, all right, this is definitely a Star Wars game. Is it going to be Star Wars Eclipse? Is this going to be maybe Star Wars Jedi 3 perhaps? But no. This was indeed Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, a spiritual successor of sorts to the Knights of the Old Republic series from BioWare way back in the day. This trailer, we saw a ship, like I said, was being piloted onto a planet. We saw there was a crew of 3 people. There was a woman, a droid, and then an alien of some sort. We don't know who any of these characters are, but we saw them walking towards a ship, and then they got to the ship, and then the woman, who we found out is a Jedi, ignites her lightsaber, and then trailer ends, title card. We know this game is coming from game director Casey Hudson, who worked formerly on the original Knights of the Old Republic series. He is working on this game with his new team, Arcanaut Studios, and we did get confirmation this is going to be a single-player action role-playing game. I have not played any of the Knights of the Old Republic games. I haven't played the MMO that's out, the Old Republic either, but I have wanted to play the classic KOTOR games for the longest time. I've been looking forward to that remake that's in development hell. Nevertheless, I'm very excited by this. Just knowing the pedigree of that classic series, knowing the pedigree of the team that is seemingly behind this, and just Casey Hudson being at the helm of this project here, has me all in on it. Do I think this is coming out anytime soon? No, not a chance in hell. Do I think we're going to be seeing actual gameplay or anything more of this game anytime soon? Not at all. I would not be surprised if this game is at least 4 years away. I think when you go online on Lucasfilm's website where they're talking about the game, there's a brief interview, and the game is still early in development right now, so I do not expect this game to be releasing. Like I said, this is most likely, almost certainly going to be a next generation game. I will be surprised if this is releasing before the next generation comes out. If this is an early 2027 game, I will be shocked. Most likely a PlayStation 6, Xbox, whatever game is what this is going to be, but I'm looking forward to it. It seems super cool, seems interesting. We got to learn more about the story, the universe, and all like that, but Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, nice way to kick off this show. Definitely one of my highlights from it. My second highlight from the show is going to be Control Resonant. This is the sequel to the 2019 title from Remedy Entertainment. Of course, that one called Control. This is the sequel. And man, if you thought the original Control was very weird and surreal and trippy, this one is taking it to a whole other level. We are not playing as Jesse Faden in this game, surprisingly. We're actually playing as her brother Dylan, who was in the last game, spoilers kind of sort of here, sorry, not sorry, but in the last game we know he was trapped or in prison in some way, shape, or form. I don't remember the specifics of it because honestly, it's been a while. The story of Control has all but left my memory. But we see in the trailer that New York is more or less like Inception, kind of sort of. There's really weird stuff going on in New York City. Whatever was going on in the oldest house has broken on out. There are all these dead bodies surrounding the oldest house. And then we see Jesse go to her brother's body. He's he's like hooked up to an IV, and then she like stabbed him with a weapon of some sort. And then we see what, I don't know if it's supposed to be in his mind or whatnot, but he ends up taking the weapon that was stabbed into him, and then we see him just actually out in New York City, and there's just this invasion that's going on with these creatures. The sun is looking all weird, and we find this is where we get the reveal that Control Resonant is going to be more of like an actual action RPG, kind of sort of like we kind of saw some combat that looked like it was a bit character actiony. It looks really cool though. This is not a third person shooter. This is going to be a straight up melee action RPG game. It looks very exciting. We saw just like how Jesse Faden's gun could change forms, Dylan's melee weapon could also change. So we saw it like it could be like a fist type weapon, or like a more heavy bludgeony burly type weapon, or like a sword type deal. It looks cool. I'm actually very, very, very into it. Looking forward to seeing just how just out there and bizarre Remedy gets with Control Resonant. It's super cool. It's coming next year. We got confirmation of that. PS5, Xbox, PC. So yeah, Control Resonant, was not expecting this game here. I mean, I should have been expecting it considering how long it's been since the first Controller. We've known that the sequel's been in development for a while, but major highlight here. Super excited to see more of this one in the coming months. Now my third highlight is going to be a package deal, because it is a 2-for-1, because we got 2 Tomb Raider announcements. Tomb Raider is coming back in a big way over the next 2 years actually. We have first next year Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. This is a reimagining of the original Tomb Raider game. Dinosaurs are going to be here, dual wielding guns are here. We see Lara doing her her classic the flip up that she does when she grabs onto a ledge and pulls herself up. We see that classic animation, and then also in this we also have a modernization of her classic design from that original game. So that's very exciting. That's coming next year for PlayStation 5, Xbox, and PC. And then in 2027 we're getting another Tomb Raider game called Tomb Raider Catalyst. We got a CG trailer for this one. It was like there was a festival going on. Lara delved into a tomb. She had like a grappling hook type thing under her wrist. That was super cool. And I believe in that one also, I think I heard them talking about looking for Atlantis. And also in this game, and Tomb Raider Catalyst, her design kind of sort of harkens back to the design of the OG Lara Croft. It's still like a bit of a blend of the modern day version of Lara Croft that we've had with like the Survivor era of Tomb Raider from the 2013 game, and then Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It's a bit of like that design, but also like if you look, it's like, all right, we're kind of going back to what her original look was. Either way, Tomb Raider's back in a big way. It is exciting stuff for sure, because Tomb Raider has been on the back burner for a good couple of years now. So I'm excited for these. I've never played the original Tomb Raider, so I definitely would love to get my hands on Legacy of Atlantis when it comes out next year, and see how they reimagine it for the modern day in this new world we're in. And I don't know, man. I'm just, again, these are just fresh off the dome thoughts right after the show. It is midnight as of right now, as of me recording. I need to get to bed soon, but I'm excited. I'm excited for this. It looks awesome. This is just cool stuff to see right here. Highlight number 4 for me from the show, and probably my biggest highlight actually, the one that really like blew me away. I was like, whoa, inject this into my veins right now, is this game Orbitals. This is a Switch 2 exclusive game coming out next year. It's developed by this team called Shape Farm, if I'm correct. And this is it's a game that's set in space. It's a co-op game, once again in the vein of games from Hazelight Studios such as It Takes Two or Split Fiction, games like that. It's in that type of style for co-op, but it has this art style that is so clearly, obviously inspired by old school anime. And I mean like old school 90s anime. It has that like that really nostalgic what's the word? If you basically put it like this, if you have watched original Sailor Moon, if you've seen original Dragon Ball, if you've seen the look of shows like those, if you've seen the look of shows like Ghost in the Shell, the original Ghost in the Shell, like that aesthetic, that is what they are going for here, and they are nailing it. We have like 2D anime cutscenes, but also the game itself is a 3D game. But with the 3D, the way they do the cell shading, it kind of makes it look like it's 2D to an extent, but it still retains that old school anime shader look. It's beautiful. I love it. If you're an anime fan, you were probably like, oh my god, this looks super cool and I would love to play this. Like, I've never seen a game absolutely nail this look this way. Like, you can see, if you will go online, you can see artists make art that is meant to be in this style. But I've never seen a game like this, and this is just pitch perfect. I love it so much. Orbital's absolutely my #1 highlight from this show for sure. I definitely want to play this game when it comes out next year. Whether it is good or not, it is at least nailing the aesthetic that it's going for, and I gotta give them all the props for that. And my final highlight from the Game Awards this year is going to be Sorrows. We got a new story trailer for the game, implying more about what the main character is dealing with, his relationship with a woman that he knew, and then we kind of are seeing how it seems like other soldiers that he's working with, or that are in his military group, I'll call it, seem to be getting possessed in some way, shape, or form. There's a bit of untrust and uncertainty between himself and his other fellow teammates, his other fellow squad mate soldiers. They're wondering like, hey, is something wrong with him as well? We're seeing like actual cutscenes here in this footage, in this trailer that we got, seemingly showing that like the story that's going to be here is going to be a more the storytelling at the very least is going to be more direct and straightforward, as opposed to how very cryptic and vague and abstract Returnals was. We're getting a more clear cut, this is a story that we're telling, this is what's happening, this is what's going on with Sorrows, which I'm on board with, and I'm sure there will still be some mystery to things, just like there was with Returnal, but I didn't want them to necessarily just play the hits again in terms of the storytelling method with Sorrows. I'm open to them doing something new, as long as we get a good story that is intriguing, that's fun, or maybe not fun for a story, but that's intriguing, that's mysterious, that's interesting, that's exciting, that's compelling. As long as we get a story like that, I'm all for whatever they want to do. And of course, we saw more combat, some more gameplay again. It's continuing to look as fast-paced as you would expect from this type of game, from this team over at Housemarque. So again, Sorrows is looking fantastic, and we got a new release date. It has been delayed from March. Sorrows is now releasing on April 30th. That is very cool. I mean, you know, take your time, let them cook and all. It does kind of put me in a weird spot, because there was another game that's coming out next year that I'm going to talk about in a moment that I was thinking, oh, maybe I will review, but I'm not reviewing that game now because I definitely want to review Sorrows. So hey, either way, Sorrows, my last major numbered highlight that I'm mentioning here in this video. Awesome showing, awesome game. I'm looking forward to playing this one. So beyond those main key highlights, of course, there were, like I said, there were many other announcements, so many other cool ones. We got the announcement that Pragmata, we got a new trailer for that, some new gameplay. That is coming out April 24th. It's also coming to Switch 2 as well, and there is going to be a demo coming out to consoles very soon. There's a PC demo out now. If you haven't played this game already, definitely go give it a shot. I gave my impressions after playing it at New York Comic-Con. Go check that video out. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to playing it. So because I was looking forward to reviewing this one, or maybe reviewing it, but it's coming out just before Sorrows, so it's not happening. We also got, you know, a trailer and release date for Phantom Blade Zero. That's coming out September 9th next year. That game has always looked fantastic, and this new trailer, this is like the best it has ever looked, so I am very excited for that one. Out of Words, this is another co-op adventure game, claymation stop motion art style. This one also, again, not our first time seeing it, but it continues to look so charming and magnificent. Very excited for that. Mega Man announced to be coming back. Mega Man Dual Override. This game coming in 2027. We got a brief gameplay tease. It's a classic 2D Mega Man game coming to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. Surprisingly, PS4 is going to be getting games 13 years later in 2027. That's crazy. Actually, not 13 years. 14 years, because the PS4 came out in 2013. Absolutely wild. But PS4, PS5, Switch 2, Xbox, PC, all in 2027, barring it, any delays. Very exciting stuff for Mega Man fans. There was just so much here, and that's not even talking about the clip we got for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Just Luigi straight up flying, kneeing Bowser Jr. We got a bit of a tease of some footage for the Street Fighter movie as well coming next year. There was just a lot of cool stuff that was shown off here at the Game Awards. But on a more human note, I do want to say, that one of my favorite highlights from the show that wasn't an announcement was just how down to earth things were with the show a bit more this year than in recent years. We had the Game Changer Award came back. That was given to Girls Make Games, which was fantastic to see. Fantastic to see them on the stage talking about, just what the organization does for young girls across the world, what it does for them in terms of giving them, dipping their toes into game development and making them, having them showing them that, like, hey, game development can be a thing for you. You can make games, you can, have a career in making games. It could be fun, so on and so forth. So that was very awesome to see. Love to see them give time for them on the stage. It was also cool seeing, the award winners once again be able to actually have time to speak after getting their awards. This is something that I heavily criticized the show for in 2023, as many people did, because it seemed like the show has kind of always been like this, more about the award than more about the reveals and trailers than it was about the awards. But 2023, it leaned way too heavily on trailers and stuff, as opposed to giving the award winners their due diligence. 2024, it pushed things back in the other direction. This year again, we're getting that balance right. The balance was definitely right this year. I still wish more of these awards were on the stage. I love the Muppet stuff, but I don't know, some of that Muppets time could have been dedicated to, actual awards being on the stage and those award winners being able to give actual speeches on the stage. But I mean, hey, Jeff Keighley was smashing Miss Piggy. He smashed her. So, we got to give Miss Piggy her due. Either way, the award winners and their time with their speeches, that was great to see. I loved seeing when Claire Obscure, when the team won for best sounded music, best scored music, my mistake. And the two recipients went up there on the stage. One of them was the game's composer. The other one, I forgot what her position was. I apologize. But the game's composer, he read his speech. It took a bit of time getting through it, but he read his speech, and then they started playing the music as if all right, cool, they're done with their speech. Yeah, they're gonna walk on off. But then the other recipient there from the team, she actually had a speech that she wanted to give really quickly, and she started talking, and they turned the music down, let her give her speech. And then when she was done, they were like, okay, you guys are done for realsies? All right, cool. Now we'll play the music and you all will head on off. And that was great. I loved that they actually brought the music back down so she could talk, say her piece, give her, congratulations, her thanks and everything. That was beautiful. Loved to see that. Definitely need more of that in the future. But again, also, going back to the human side of things, I loved seeing, going back to GOTY at the end of the award show, when Claire Obscure, the team, won Game of the Year, and the team, they took some time getting on stage because they were all just so in shock that they won Game of the Year after winning basically every other award that they were nominated for on the show. And they just did a whole giant group hug essentially in their seats. It was beautiful seeing that moment and them just have the time to have that moment before they went on stage, and then go on stage and then take the time to actually be able to say their proper speech that they wanted to, thanking Hironobu Sakaguchi for, you know, giving them their love of JRPGs and just video games in general. So beautiful stuff right there all around. Also loved the opening. I mean, oh my gosh, the opening of this show's kicking it off with that musical performance from Clair Obscur. Like, you know, I've said my piece before about like, you know, like I'm not too fond of Clair Obscur being nominated for everything, and more so because of like just the reaction from like the diehard fans of it. I love the game. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Do not hound me about this. But man, like that opening, I was like, you know what? You guys could take all the awards. That was a fantastic opening performance of, you know, one of the most iconic songs from the game. I cannot think the name of it off the top of my head, but fantastic performance there. Just overall good stuff from the show. This was a really good show. I do feel like the final reveal of High Guard, which is a new free-to-play hero shooter type game that's coming from the team that made Apex Legends. This is not Respawn Entertainment, but the specific team of people at Respawn that had made Apex Legends went off, made their own studio. This team been working for the past couple years on this new game, High Guard. It's like this mix of fantasy and first-person shooter and stuff. It does look cool. It does look interesting. As a final announcement, like our last big thing was a bit of a weak one, especially kind of since it came right after Mega Man Dual Override. Kind of felt like if you switched them, would have been a better final reveal. But either way, good show overall. I enjoyed it. I would give it, like I said, a letter grade, B+. Good show overall. Jeff Keighley, keep this balance. This balance here, this was a good balance. Do not go too far towards all about reveals and announcements and stuff. We need a good balance between awards and giving announcements and giving awards their due diligence and the winners their due diligence. We could go a little more towards awards and winners, giving them more time. But please do not skew more heavily in the announcements side of things. Also, this is a long show, from 7:30 for the pre-show until 11 p.m. Eastern time for the show ending roughly around then. That is a long show. We could maybe tighten this up a bit, please and thank you. Nonetheless, that's all my thoughts, my highlights from the show, my just brief thoughts on the show overall. What were your thoughts? What were your favorite highlights from the Game Awards this year? Let me know down in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit the notification bell. That way you know as soon as new videos go live. My name is Tyler. This has been The Comfy Spot. We'll talk next time. Have a good one.